Welcome live back into the Supporters Gaming League. We are back after about a 45-minute break. A little bit of rain delay here on the stream as we get set for tonight's match day 11 premier matchup. Top of the table, Timbers Army taking on El Matador. We've kind of highlighted it in our last broadcast. We're going to be jumping right in. But Maz, keys to the match, go. What do you got?
Keys to the match. Star players got to deliver. Support cast has to step up and not rely on the star players, and we might see 5 tonight. We might see 5.
Ooh, I have not been on a 5 in a broadcast, so that raises hair on the skin for another reason. We've been able to use that phrase here 2 times really quickly, but excited for this one. Loyboy versus Luis. Loyboy hat trick in all 3 games that he played in last week because they had a 3-0 win to take care of things. But we are jumping right in. Match week 11, El Matador, Timbers Army. Here we go.
Just waiting for the match to kick off, and the countdown is here. Here we go. El Matador versus Timbers Army in the Premier League.
Already Loyboy in the middle taking care of business. Maybe going to get his first shot on the game, but Huey knocks away before he's knocked out of the play.
And
right
interestingly,
into the corner, trying to set things up, seeing if he can get for Loyboy. Loyboy circles around as Luis pops it in the middle.
back to the wall from El Matador, and they pay for it right there, Anomaly. I thought they'd be trying to go out and be a bit more aggressive, but everyone just choosing to wait for the ball to come to them. Loyboy takes advantage of that, slots it in, and gives Timbers Army the first lead of the night, 1-0.
We talked all day about the lead up of will the big players come in and contribute right off the bat. It's Loyboy. Loyboy looking for another one. Touch off the ceiling. Gonna get the redirect. Rydog's unable to put it down. What a pass, and Rydog read it nearly perfectly, but he hits it wide.
And now El Matador coming forward. Luis, flip reset pass to Huey, who couldn't get up. And now Rydog brings it out. Timbers Army started well. They gotta follow up and keep it going. Good fake there by Luis. Gnostics trying to get the 50, but Timbers Army win that battle, and once again El Matador are back defending.
Something I'm interested to see here is how the teams handle the big players as Luis looks to get the pass from Huey, but it's knocked away from Piglet as Loyboy takes advantage of it. Where I was going with that is the way that players are able to spot against 2 top mechanical players in this, Loyboy and Luis. Are they going to man mark each other? Will they not? It's one of those things that you have 2 very good mechanical teams and how they match up well against each other.
Yes, absolutely. We're starting to see a lot of good play from each Timbers Army player right here. Their lineup consisting of Loyboy, Rydog, and Piglet coming in instead of Nelly. Piglet is back. Meanwhile, for El Matador, they bring out their most mechanical trio. Luis, Gnostics, aka Indestructible, and Huey.
I like really fair from El Matador is just the offensive play. They're getting shots on goal, but Rydog once again there to meet it and knock it away. Luis takes it in the corner. His shot a little weak. Piglet takes advantage of it and clears it. Loyboy now in the middle takes control. Luis plays defense, can't get the curl on it to knock it away, but it's drifting wide for Huey to take and go the other way.
Oh, what a fake right there from Huey, but he just couldn't get the final touch. Loyboy takes the ball away from his Octane and brings it forward with his own. Rydog going for the final shot with his Ford Mustang. Couldn't get it at the end. And now Indestructible on the counter, looking for the flip reset. Phoenix tries to get it off of the surface. Just couldn't get the final touch. That would have been an audacious goal, Anomaly. But Timbers Army hold on strong.
Man, the fake, the reset, it was all there. Rydog came out of absolute nowhere. The last time I saw him on the screen, he was almost at midfield. He was able to come in at the last second to knock it away. We almost had one of my favorite goals in the game, the ever-famous turtle goal, but it was knocked away at the last second.
And we're seeing El Matador step up and create some good chances right here, but this Timbers Army team looks comfortable defensively, and we typically see them be this solid whenever they take the lead, which is why conceding that early goal for El Matador was tough. Now they have a whole lot of work to do to just get a chance at a good opening. Loyboy doing a great job of getting the ball away from Luis, but now Gnostic's trying to take over. Tries to play a pass off the backboard, but he just gives Rydog the chance to clear it out. El Matador reset, and it's all over for to start all over again. Excuse me.
They both on that one there. You look at, I really see something that El Matador is doing, and it seems they're making a concerted effort to be able to try to bump and run. They're sending the ball across the goal, and they're going right across, looking to get the bump. But right now, Timbers Army is having none of it as Loyboy, Skyen, flip reset, pushes it off to the side, knocked away from Luis as Loyboy recenters it, but Indestructible is able to take care of it in the middle. 1 minute to go here in game one as Timbers Army looks to take the opener.
And Loyboy has done so well to relieve Timbers Army of the pressure whenever they needed someone to bring the ball out of the back. Rydog has been clutch with his saves. Piglet doing a great job defensively as well with his positioning and his involvement in making sure that El Matador don't get easy openings. But Loyboy is the key to this team right now, doing such a good job of wasting so much time, creating these chances out of nothing. A setup there for Rydog, who couldn't get it on target, but they have nothing to worry about. They have defended so well that even when El Matador countered with 3 players, they have an opening at the other end. Loyboy finishes it off. 18 seconds remaining, and game one is looking very likely to be Timbers Army's.
My gosh, that was just such a team effort. We talked about Loyboy at one side. He looked like a shark in the water smelling blood, but Piglet with the clearance, a key clearance to Rydog. Rydog hits it up the field, gets that perfect bounce off the corner for Loyboy to make it a double, and he gets his second. Looking to see, can he get his 4th consecutive hat trick? No, knocked away by Luis with about 10 seconds to go here in game one.
And they need a goal right now, no matter if they want to come back, but it's too little too late. Game one in the back for Timbers Army. El Matador had their chances, but Timbers Army saw off every single attack that they had to deal with. They take the advantage now, 1-0 in this matchup.
I think this is a game almost exactly like we talked about in the pregame. If you were following us before the games earlier, before we took this quick rain delay, we talked about the way that you're able to handle the top players. Loyboy coming in 2 goals, but his supporting cast, my goodness. Piglet 2 assists, 3 saves, Rydog 4 saves. They rotate so well. And you look at the way that the El Matador plays, they're a team that is all about the team game, pretty even in shots, pretty even in saves. Demos, not too much in the physical play there, but just Loyboy all over the field, and he takes advantage. All he needs is that little bit of a break, and he's going to find the back of the net. And for El Matador, they're going to have to find that answer. They're going to have to find that breakthrough. Much easier said than done, but you look for the way that that played out almost exactly like we thought it would, with Loyboy stealing the show with 2 goals.
Oh, absolutely. He did get the goals, but look at the defending there for Piglet. 3 saves, Rydog with 4. Every single player stepped up and played a big part. El Matador huffed and puffed, but they couldn't bring the house down. That was game one. We are now jumping into game two. El Matador can still come back, but they have a lot of work to do, Anomaly.
Yeah, what I really liked was the way that El Matador bumped and run there, but they weren't able to get that shot. And that rotation was just so good from Piglet and from Rydog. It's really going to be tough to break down.
And it's also going to continue to be tougher for El Matador because this Timbers Army lineup remains the same. El Matador go with a sub. Skyline, aka Total Toadster, the game comes in for Gnostics, aka Indestructible in the game. Let's see if that sub is going to play a part for EM. I thought they were stuck with Indestructible to go with Huey and Luis, and they might have to rethink that substitution. Both Huey and Luis caught up in the midfield. No one going for that ball. Rydog with an easy shot from the center circle. Timbers Army take an early lead yet again.
I was just about to comment on really the team play there. They were toying with them just 10 seconds in, and all of a sudden Matador gets a little bit of a break, but all it takes, again, that little bit of a crack, and you know that they're going to take advantage. And speak of the devil, Matador, with the first time at this game that they find the back of the net. A 50 goes the wrong way for the Timbers Army squad, and Toadster able to direct it to the top right over Rydog. Very close play, but those are the goals you have to get at this level of play if you're going to take down Timbers Army.
And look who it is as well. Skyline coming in, getting the goal, and we talked about it earlier being a clinical finisher. But speaking of clinical finishers, Piglet steps up, gets the goal to bring Timbers Army back into the lead, assisted by Rydog. But we have seen both Piglet and Skyline contribute their goals. Timbers Army are back in the lead. We have yet to play a full minute.
Loyboy who in this game? It's all Piglet and Rydog coming together on this one. The supporting cast has been all over the field, wanting to be a part of the goal scoring here. Like you said, less than a minute into this game.
And one thing I like about Timbers Army here, they are not trying to let one player take over and just do their own thing. Everyone is working in tandem with each other. El Matador as well are also trying to do that, but they are just struggling to minimize Loyboy's influence. He is just having his way right now. They might need to figure out a way to get him out of the game, because at this moment in time, he is dictating the game, and he is going to play a part. Every single Timbers Army player has contributed with a goal in this game too. Loyboy up of Piglet, carrying it into the back of the net. Luis didn't have any boost. Even if he did, Loyboy had the momentum. Timbers Army take a 2-goal lead. They're up 3-1.
Yeah, he saw the supporting cast and he said, I wanted to be a part of the action on that one. Loyboy, the way he played that, he was a part of almost every single touch down the field. And Piglet, who was just waiting in the middle, got the bump, got the pass, was able to get it. And obviously, you give Loyboy that kind of space, with that kind of room, he's going to find the net almost every single time.
And speaking of finding the net, there's a chance right there for Huey, but Rydog steps in to get involved. Luis going for a shot. Loyboy at the right place at the right time, and he clears it out to Skyline. A bit of confusion. Both missed the ball, and Timbers Army are back forward yet again. Loyboy couldn't get the double. El Matador bailed out, but Anomaly, they are looking like a bit of a mess right now. They need to clean their game up quick.
Yeah, it hasn't been clean for them, and you just look at the passing, like, my goodness, Loyboy to Rydog. Back of the net, ×2 once again. 2 goals for Loyboy. Just a beautiful pass to Rydog, who returns the favor, puts it off the corner. Huey dove at it, but he was just a little bit too late. If you talk about teamwork goals that you're going to highlight at the end of the season, why Timbers Army are the team that they are, that's the type of goal you're going to show. That teamwork was just phenomenal.
And we talked about it earlier as well. You got to have the move. You gotta have the ball move faster than the players. Timbers Army are most certainly doing that. El Matador cannot keep up with this pace. As much as they've done a good job of bringing the ball forward, they haven't been able to create good enough chances like that. Skyline had a good look right there, just couldn't get it on target. There's still a lot of time in this second half of game 2. El Matador can come back from this 3-goal deficit, but they gotta make their chances count whenever they get them.
Yeah, you saw some frustration that you usually don't see there. Luis was clearly frustrated with that miss the Toadster had. It was such a good play to come across. Those are some of the hardest goals to score, those off-angle shots. But I like that the way the El Matadors responded really quickly, brought some offense, trying to create something here. 2 minutes to go, needing 3 goals.
Can I say I've been impressed by how slick this Timbers Army team has looked? Against the Cinco Doce last week, they certainly had their troubles despite pushing the Austin boys all the way to 7 games. This time around, though, they are way more efficient, way more clinical. Their execution is way cleaner. And we talked about this going to 5, but I feel like this might be a sweep for Timbers Army.
Yeah, I'm not saying the fat lady's singing at this point, but she's definitely warming up the vocal cords here with just 1 minute and 28 seconds to go into game 2. El Matador, I've just been so surprised by a team that's been so good with teamwork. They're facing the team that is obviously top of the league for a reason, but a team that's showing you with every single play, pass after pass has been almost right there. You look about a play like that, Rydog, just a simple touch, sets Piglet up, who tries to go into the corner for the goal, trying to extend and get that 5th goal.
But at least El Matador get a chance to bring the ball forward. Every time they bring the ball forward, though, they have to deal with that wall in front of the orange net. Timbers Army doing a great job of preventing El Matador from getting good looks. They only had 2 so far, both involving Skyline. One a goal and the other off target. Luis now tried to go for it on his own. Huey tried to follow up, couldn't make it on time. Big fake. Loyboy with a must-see to Piglet. Another fake. Luis gets it out of the way for now, but Loyboy's going to take control after Rydog gets the touch, and now the time wasting begins. El Matador are in big trouble.
Yeah, you look at a play like this, I mean, clearly they know that they feel like they're in this comfortable spot. They're going to waste the time here. If they can get that 5th, they can, but at this point, their defense has just been so good. We talked a little bit right before we started this match. being a huge fan of Dortmund and the yellow wall, we're seeing the orange wall play out. Just one goal here. Loyboy looking for the hat trick. He gets it. That's his 4th hat trick in the last 5 games. It looked like El Matador called it a day right there, but you look at look at that touch. That's ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about that. That's beautiful. I mean, Huey had a play on it, but that's ridiculous.
I think Huey was surprised that Loyboy got that kind of touch off of the pogo attempt. That's why he was not able to react accordingly and get a clean save. But it's game over in game 2. Timbers Army are going to be on match point. El Matador are in big trouble right here. They need to step up. And Anomaly, you were there when EM Dallasburg swept ECRC. What do you think El Matador can do here to get back into this match?
I mean, the biggest thing to me is team play. We talked about big players stepping up, getting goals. You see that they're taking out Luis. Luis is not able to get the good shots, the clean shots. He's really good mechanical, but he needs Huey and Toadster or whoever is going to be that second and third to be able to help him out. And you look on the other side, the stars are being stars. Loyboy, 3 goals. There's a reason he's at the top of the league. But those first 2 goals were from Piglet and Rydog. It was the supporting cast. Those guys were getting in there, and then it just seemed like Loyboy took over. 10 shots by the end of the game. He had 2 in the first 2.5 minutes, so all of those 8 shots came in the back half of that game, and at that point, El Matador just didn't have any answers. In my opinion, the team play has not been there. It looked like they started pressing a little bit once they got down by a goal as that game was going on, but they're going to have to find that team play. They're going to have to find the back of the net. We said it after game 1, the exact same phrase. Much easier said than done, but you got to find some offense if this isn't going to be a sweep. But hey, we said this could go 5. I still believe in the El Matador squad. They're a great team. This game's far from over.
It really is, but it also depends on the subs both teams make, because both teams do have, I think, their full squads available. So we'll see who they bring in. Nelly comes in for Rydog, and look who it is. Coob is in for Huey. It's Luis Coob and Skyline versus Loyboy, Nelly, and Piglet. Here we go. Timbers Army looking for a sweep. El Matador looking for the first point.
Yeah, right off the bat, you see Loyboy getting in there, but Toadster, Skyline showing what he has, his speed, setting up a play. Coob almost gets it, but Loyboy doing what he does best. Flicks the controller, flicks the ball upfield, and it gets the first good defensive play of this 3rd game.
Yeah, Loyboy is looking like he is locked into this game, just wanting to make sure he executes to perfection. Everything done with intent, no bit of uncertainty, everything assured from him, and his teammates are working perfectly off of him. You can see the confidence oozing from this Timbers Army side as they get a shot off. Skyline at the right place to get that save. Great 50. Luis taking it to the corner. Luis versus Loyboy off the ceiling, but it's too far away from the net. It goes to the opposite flank, and now Coob gets a nice challenge on Loyboy, but Piglet is there to carry on that Timbers Army attack.
Yeah, the key for this game so far has been, when we talk about that head-to-head for Luis versus Loyboy, it's been Loyboy capitalizing almost every single time he has, while Luis has not been able to find the back of the net. Loyboy just seems like he's playing a freestyle 1v1. His controller's flying around. His wheels are all over the place. I haven't seen a person in an attack this locked in the games that I've seen this season. You know what? I think I'm developing a cold when we're going to play this team, because he's going to be just so tough to face playing like this.
But he's not doing it all by himself, Anomaly. He is playing some great combinations and passes off of his teammates, and his teammates are executing to perfection as well. No wonder Loyboy's enjoying himself when his whole team is playing a big part. And speaking of the team, they do a great job of working that attack to beat every single El Matador player. Nelly with the easy task to tap it into the back of the net. It may have taken almost 2 minutes, but we get the same outcome. Timbers Army take the lead.
Yeah, and that's just one of those games where, to me, all you're doing is putting buttons, but Loyboy knows exactly what he's doing. Completely confuses the El Matador defense. Gets that ball free for Nelly to just push it in. Just one of those goals that you hate to give up if you're El Matador. You're playing good defense. You haven't been able to transition it to good offense, but now you're going to have to come up with that answer. You're going to have to find that goal, or it's going to be a quick sweep.
Yeah, and at this point, you have nothing to lose, so you got to step up and get to the ball as soon as possible as well. the more you hesitate, the more you fall back, the more you invite this Timbers Army forward. Nice play right here by Skyline to bring it forward off the backboard. He tried to do it on his own. Coop tried to follow up. He misses as well. Luis, the third man, to get the touch and bring it forward. Getting the 50. Skyline's being open net yet again. Loyboy cannot get it on target. I'd say he was playing with his food right there. That should have been 2-0 to Timbers Army, but El Matador get away with it.
Yeah, if we're going to write down if there's any hope of a comeback, that game would have probably sealed it. That one's hitting on the play button. If you don't get it right here, there it is. I think that's going to do it. They were just a moment in time before they were going to double up this lead. This El Matador squad has not been able to transition, and you look at the way Loyboy sent that ball straight across. Nelly finds it. That's his second of the game. 2 minutes to go in El Matador's chances here in this best-of-5 series in the Supporters Gaming League.
And really, for El Matador, a team that showed some good performances in the middle part of the season, looking like they could step up into the top 4, potentially the top 3. This season started to slip away from them. After this, they're looking very likely to go below 500. And for a team like El Matador, granted, they have a weaker squad than they did last season, but to still have a bunch of good players, you'd be surprised to see them end this with a 5-6. Let's see if they can still get a point. They're only 2-0 down. There's still a lot of time for them. And they've had some good moments on the attack. It's just whenever Loyboy gets on the ball, no one's there to stop him. And Timbers Army just come forward full of confidence.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Nelly puts it across. Skyline with a beautiful save to keep Loyboy off the scoreboard, even maybe just for now. But Nelly, hat trick, no, denied by Coop. A great save right at the line. Nelly, was that a musty that he was trying to get that shot on? It kind of seemed a little musty. It smelled a little musty, but unable to get the hat trick here in game 3.
El Matador did so well to prevent that third goal, but in doing so prevented themselves from getting some boosts to bring the ball forward. They finally do right now. Skyline with 0, trying to create its own chance. Luis also doesn't have much boost. This whole El Matador team has been boost starved for much of this game 3. But they have a chance to come back. 30 seconds remaining. They can still get one back. Near post shot. Nelly is there to save it. And Coop trying to just cut and get to the ball early. Skyline is there to intervene. He was trying to go for the shot. Nelly at the right place to just throw him off. And once again, Loyboy trying to bring it forward. The clock is down to the final 10 seconds. Anomaly, I think it's game over unless we see a couple of miraculous goals. Too little, too late though. Clean sheet for Timbers Army and a sweep as they continue their quest towards their first league title.
This was just such a good game as Loyboy, he's denied. I think that's the first game that I've not seen Loyboy find the back of the net, but it didn't matter. The supporting cast was there right beside him. This time it's Nelly who steps up to capitalize on 2 beautiful assists from Loyboy. The series didn't necessarily go the extended games that we thought it did, but I think, Maz, I think we both agreed this was Timbers Army to lose. I really expected El Matador to have some answers for them, but man, Loyboy all over the place. Nelly all over the place in that game 3. Piglet, the supporting cast was right there. They're as good as advertised. Everything we talked about in that pregame, they came up and exceeded, and obviously deserved that game and that sweep.
Oh yes, totally. And you know what? Let's give credit to the whole Timbers Army team. Everyone stepped up. Everyone was at their best. Rydog, Piglet, Nelly, and Loyboy. Everyone was 8 out of 10 at the barest to bare minimum. Some will say 10 out of 10. And you know what? I'd say that for the whole team as well. I'd say they're 10 out of 10 right here. An arguably perfect performance. You know, it'd be tough to pick out flaws. If you had to be nitpicky, you know, you'd say, okay, maybe they should have scored a goal here and there when they had some of those easy openings, but they did their job. They got the wins. They only conceded 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken, in this whole match. And they take a 7-point lead at the top of the league table after this win.
Yeah, I think what's crazy about that one, and I'm a stats guy. Everybody knows I love the stats. Big shocker there. You look at the offense that was produced from El Matador, as you said, two goals in their series. But that last game of desperation when you're down 2-0 and only getting 2 shots, that's nothing against what El Matador did or didn't do. That was Timbers Army, Loyboy all over the place, Nelly all over the place, Piglet all over the place. And the way they rotated, the way that they completely stopped any momentum from Matador is just one of the many things that they do. They can mechanically beat you. They can beat you with defense. This one, that third game was almost a complete different game than those first and second that seemed a little bit more high scoring. This one was, hey, we're just not going to give you hope. And that is the hardest thing is Rocket League when you don't have any momentum and you're not able to get that offense. We talk about Skyline. I really think the best opportunity they had, Skyline, I think, had a midfield shot. It didn't count on the scoreboard for a shot. It was off to the left. But outside of that, that was really the only opportunity where there wasn't somebody there from Timbers Army to knock it away. And we just talk about a difference of a match. That's all it is. You can't get the offense. You're not going to get goals. You're not going to win games. And the way that Timbers Army kind of played that really from the start, you saw that the whole match. And obviously that's why they come away with a sweep.
Absolutely. Well-deserved sweep for them as well. I think El Matador had their best chance in that game 1 where they were peppering that Timbers Army goal. But whenever you give this Timbers Army side a lead, it's very tough to come back against them. Only Lisinko Dose has been able to do this with a plum too, mind you, but wasn't easy for them either. So for El Matador, once they conceded that first goal, you know, personally, I just had the feeling that it was going to be an uphill battle for them, and that's how it turned out in the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you look at a team that's just so offensive. You have the league leader in scoring. You have a team that has multiple guys in the top 10 in scoring. They have guys that are on the other side of that, top 10 in the league in saves. They do it on both sides of the field, and I think that's really exciting to watch. I think as we get into the back half of this season, obviously they have some big matchups ahead. We've talked about how good this league is. This El Matador team is no slouch. I mean, they're a really good team. And Timbers Army was able to kind of flex their muscle. I think they're going to get everybody's best the rest of the season, and it's going to be interesting to see how they combat against that. But they're just one of those teams that just, you see how they play tonight. When they're on, that's going to be really tough to beat. And all those games, that third game was just so impressive because they were just like a little boa constrictor. They were constricting on the offense from El Matador. They weren't able to get anything going, and that's just so hard to overcome.
For sure. And at this moment, we do have an interview lined up. Let us bring in Timbers Army's Rydog. Rydog, a much better performance from your team. You guys saw El Matador with relative ease. What contributed to your performances tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just Kyle. It's just Piglet. Like, we just need a Piglet back in the lineup. I think in all honesty, we were supposed to have him against Lisinko Dose, and he unfortunately couldn't make it last minute, so we were just mental was down in the dumps. No, I have no idea. But for sure, he actually played so well tonight. I really did want to finish out the series, but I felt bad for Reese because he got back from work, and I was like, dude, I would hate to just have him rush back from work to not play. So I gave him the nod in game 3, and he obviously scored both goals, so that was cool.
How cool is it to have a guy like just come in and sub, and all of a sudden he's hitting the game winner and obviously the series clincher?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. No, I mean, I've known Reese for a long time. I know what to expect of him as a player, and my nerves didn't increase at all. Actually, they probably decreased a little bit when he got in there. So I'm happy he got a chance to play in that game 3, obviously. And obviously, yeah, we played super well. I know you guys were just talking about it. But yeah, it felt comfortable. That series felt comfortable.
One thing I noticed from your team's gameplay was you guys were just executing everything to perfection. It seemed like you guys were in the same wavelength. Was this something you guys prepared for? Like, did you guys warm up to get in sync with each other, or did everything just fall into place tonight?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we definitely warmed up. I usually like to get on about an hour before and get on the sticks and stuff. But I think it just falls into place. I mean, we're just not as serious when we warm up, which is cool, obviously, right? We're just trying to just get loose and get touches on the ball and everything. And and then when we get into the private lobby, it's, you know, everybody lock in, and so yeah, it's all about just feeling loose. And Loyboy's kind of been the one to just kind of settle everybody's nerves over the course of the whole season of, hey, it's all right, we're here to have fun. Like, just we do better when we have fun and we don't have any pressure on ourselves. I think there might have been some pressure, at least for me. I felt like there was some pressure against Lisingo Dose in the cup, and that could have contributed to me not playing well at all. And so it was nice to get that bounce back after we were just feeling loose and feeling more like ourselves.
You look at a game like tonight's where your team playing a team that is one of the more mechanically good playing teams together. They have obviously Luis does what he does, Huey does what he does, that whole team has what they have. How did you guys able to shut that down? I mean, 2 shots in game 3, not really anything that really scared you guys at all. Obviously you weren't in that one, but the first 2, not, I think 2 goals in the whole series. You guys pretty much shut them down on defense, and that may be one of the best defensive performances we've seen this season. What do you say about, and what do you credit that to tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just we have a lot of respect for them in the air with their mechanics and their play, and so it was just a matter of, hey, we can't let them do what they want to do. And so it was very much like, hey, we just need to get in your face, and whether that's bump you, whether that's, you know, you're going up for an air dribble and I get you out of the way. I might not hit the ball, but I'm gonna hit you out of the way, or I'm gonna hit the ball right. And so, like I said, it's just a level of respect, I think, of just like how good they are, and just not, you know, letting them do what they do best. Yeah, you said it best, right? Like we know how good that team is mechanically, and I mean, we didn't talk much about game plan. I think we just wanted to let ourselves calm down a little bit from last week, and just kind of, like I said before, like just be loose and stuff. But if I did have a game plan for this week, it would be, yeah, shut down Luis and shut down his mechanics, because that's a huge part of their game. And just be aware of the rest of them, because all of them are solid players. It's not like they have one bad player on the roster, and so there's no iteration of 3 where you can kind of let off the gas a little bit, right? And you saw that over the course of the series. They made some subs and stuff like that, and the games were close.
I don't know if they were close necessarily. Game 2 was a 5-1 win for you guys, and Game 3, yeah, it was closer, but you never looked like you were particularly threatened. So despite the closeness in the scoreline, I mean, you guys still had a few chances where you could have extended the lead. You know, Loyboy had an open net, he couldn't get it in. Actually, talk to me about that chance. What was the reaction when you saw Loyboy miss that open net?
he's I hope he's watching this right now. He's probably dying laughing, because as soon as he missed that, he went, Maz is gonna comment on that. That's the first thing he's gonna say. So yeah, I think we were all just pretty funny, and he will say the copium answer is he thought that there was somebody in net, so he thought he was gonna try and like bait him out one more time, but of course the net was open. And yeah, so it's funny you bring that up, because I hope he's watching it, and he's probably, that whole Discord call is probably dying laughing right now.
It's a little bit easier to talk about a miss after you get a win like that, but Nelly's obviously able to clean it up just a couple of seconds later. You guys, you probably, you know at this point you're going to get everybody's best shot. What's kind of that mentality to get in the back half of the season and just kind of get ready for that each match week?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in my like high school soccer days, where you're like, oh, if this team beats this team, then we're going to be this seed. But if that team beats this other team, then we could move, like all this stuff. I mean, we've talked about it in the call. I've made stupid spreadsheets because I'm a nerd, of like, if this result happens, then what happens and stuff like that. I think after this week, we'll have a really good indication of what's to come. We have probably the hardest schedule out of all the teams, because we still have to play KC and Chrome, which are the top 2, or the 2 and 3 in the league right now. So obviously I mentioned it after this game to the guys, like, hey, we need to circle that one. Like, that determines a lot, and I don't know if you guys know when that match is going to be played, because I hopefully will either commentate that match, because it's going to be a good match, or just be in the stream, because obviously there's tons of implications there for both those teams for the title, potentially. So yeah, it's just stay locked in and just do what we got to do. I mean, our road is really easy. We win all the series and we're league champs, so that's the way we're going to try and do it, and hopefully not rely on anybody else.
Well, last but not least, Rydog, we are going to give you the floor to say what you want to say. Go ahead, give your shout outs, say whatever you want to say. Floor is now yours.
Yeah, thanks guys for staying up late. No, it's 12:30 in the morning for at least you, Maz. Anam, I'm not sure where you're at, but I'm sure it's very late there as well. So thank you for staying up and streaming and commentating. Shout out my team, of course, they're insane. King Kyle is the best. He's back in the lineup and we win. I don't know. It's causation maybe. Like he just needs to play more, and we'll win more games. So happy for that. And obviously GG's to EM. They're an insane team, and we had to respect the heck out of them tonight just to make sure that we had to do what we had to do to make sure that they weren't a threat. And of course my last shout out is Mama Rydog, who's not in chat because this is very late for her, but she'll watch it tomorrow morning and get the shout out. So but yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it.
As always, the Central Time Zone love here, not too bad here, but it's always a pleasure, and obviously it was fun watching you guys tonight.
Yeah, thanks guys, have a good night.
You too, Rydog. Catch you next time. Well, we could have had a doubleheader anomaly, but we only got one match. It was in the premiere. El Matador versus Timbers Army, ending up with a sweep for the Portland Timbers side right here. And let's take a quick look at the league table before we end out this stream. Timbers Army going to 42 points. All they need is one more point. Sorry, not one more, two more points, and Los Cinco Doce will be out of title contention. Los Cinco Doce having it all to do to get back into this. And if Timbers Army end with 44, then Los Cinco Doce is out of title contention. They need 40. They can only get 43 points max. So Los Cinco Doce just need to hope that Timbers Army lose every single match after this, and not just lose but also get swept. Otherwise, it's gonna be very likely a top two battle between Timbers Army and Frontera Chrome. Cauldron's still there, no doubt, but Cauldron also has to face Frontera Chrome, so it's gonna be a tough end of the season for the KC boys.
Yeah, I had to pinch myself just to make sure I wasn't dreaming, thinking of Timbers Army dropping any of those matches down the road. Obviously, this is a tough table. There's tough teams to play against at this point, but there's a reason that they're at the top. They're closing in on it. They have their sights on it. Huge games still left to go. We talk about, obviously, with Cauldron, with their games, not out of it just yet, but it's just one of those things. Every game's going to be tough at this point, so it would still be a massive shock to see anything for Timbers Army drop points. I think every game that they play, they're going to have an opportunity to get those points. The supporting cast, everybody around them. We talked about Piglet obviously being so big tonight. Top scorer in the league in Loy Boy. It's going to be really tough to catch them at this point. I think that's obvious to say. But anything can happen. I'm an agent of chaos. I'm here for chaos. If I want to see chaos, I'm cheering for it. So nothing against Timbers Army, but I would love to see it come down to that final stretch, those final games.
For sure. And one other match we need to highlight is Frontera Chrome versus KC Cauldron. Rydog was asking when that will be scheduled. Let's take a quick look at the schedule to see when that's coming up. Yes, right now you see a TBD right there. We will show you when that will be going live, but for now, gotta go back to Rebellion versus Saxon Rose. That was supposed to be the first match to kick off tonight, but it had to be postponed. That is now gonna kick off Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. As for Frontera Chrome versus KC Cauldron, that match will kick off at Saturday, January 31st, 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So
yeah, just a good way to obviously end the month with one of the biggest games of the season in this back half of the season. It's going to be one of those ones that's going to be a thriller. If you're a fan of the Supporters Gaming League, that's one you have to watch because it's going to have such a big impact on the rest of the standings, the rest of the table. It's really going to decide who's going to be in that mid pack and who's going to be at the top at the end of the season, and that's exciting to watch. And what a perfect way to end match day 11 for the Premier side, and obviously a good one to end on the championship side too. Big matches for the end of the season table with just a couple more weeks to go.
For sure, for sure. That about wraps it up for our stream tonight. Next match, Rebellion versus Axe and Rose to round off the championship before we go into the weekend with Chrome versus Cauldron rounding off the premiere on Saturday night. We will see you all tomorrow for Rebellion versus Axe and Rose, but for now, this is the Only Mazar and Anomaly. We will see you guys tomorrow night if you're in Central and before, and if you're on Eastern, in about 9 hours. See you guys later. Peace.
Peace out, Cub Scout. Good night.